2 steps forward, 5 steps back. Back to square one. This is exactly what I was talking about in the last match reaction, where I said there has to be cautious in your optimism. Have we turned a corner? You can't say that. Not after beating Brentford and Slavia Prague. But we got to use that and build on it. And instead, what do? We go back to default settings. How much is too much? How long is too long? Because at this point, this is becoming indefensible. Another game where at no point did I think we were going to be the winning team today. What's the XG today? I think 0.37. Only 1 shot on target in 90 minutes. Unable to create anything. And listen, I understand. The City ground is tough. It's one of the toughest away grounds to go to. Forest built that as a fortress over the last 2 seasons. But it's the same thing we talked about in those games against Chelsea, in those games against Bournemouth, in those games against Arsenal. The lack of spine, the lack of control, the lack of identity. It's like this manager doesn't learn anything from his mistakes. He doesn't learn anything from the losses, from the dropped points. We're just there every week watching the same nonsense, expecting it to work. Going out with the same system, expecting it to work. That's madness. Repeating the same process and nothing changes, that's madness. Kudus and inshallah. Pedro Porro-Cross and inshallah. Outside of that, brother, what I am watching is not football. This was not the smart, tactical, flexible coach I was promised. And I'm sorry, there has to come a certain point when you've had enough of a lifeline. You've had enough of a time to imprint yourself in this team. And people will say, oh, but your attack isn't good enough. Oh, but your goal scorers aren't there. Oh, you don't have the midfielders. Guess what coaches are supposed to do? Coach over those cracks. Hide the weaknesses. Highlight the strengths. This coach doesn't do either. This coach doesn't do either. So how are you going to tell me and justify that he should stay on? This is feeling like now he's running out of time. Time is up. Results like this, I'm sorry, they're inexcusable. I don't care who you are. I don't care who we're playing. You can't play like that. And I'm sorry, we have to talk about certain individuals as well, because it can't just be all on Thomas Frank. In January, the 1st of the month, Inter Milan, send me your bid. Inter Milan, send me your bid. Because I'm willing to accept it for Vicario. I've seen enough. He's done enough damage. 1 week Superman, the next week Joker Man. 1 week Superman, next week Doo-Doo Man. 1 week Superman, next week he's sniffing hair from his own socks. I can't explain it. It doesn't make sense. Why are you passing to Archie Gray when he has 2 players surrounding him? That is literally putting him in a dangerous situation. And then it looks like, oh, Archie Gray loses the ball. Brother, use your common sense. You're the experienced head in that team. And then the second goal, Callum Hudson-Odoi whips in a cross and lobs you. Come on, man. What are we doing here? What are we actually doing here? This guy, there's so many games and so many times where you think, I can't rely on him. This guy can't be trusted. Little gaffes, little concentrations. So many times on set pieces we talked about in previous seasons. He can't, on the ball, I've always said he's questionable. I'm like, I can't rely on this guy. I'm sorry. You want to build a foundation from the back. We talk about how we like our defenders in Romero and Van der Ven. And to be fair, I don't think any of the defense was great today. But the foundation of that, for me, is always a goalkeeper. Your goalkeeper has to exude confidence. Your goalkeeper has to be the guy that brings that sense of composure to the back line. That you know every season he can maybe win you 7 or 8 points in a certain game. Where he can put on a heroic performance in a couple of games where you can say, you know what? We might have not been great today, but he bailed us out. I can count maybe with one hand the amount of times Vicario has done that for Tottenham Hotspur. I'm sorry, I don't get it at this point. Lapses in concentration, the same basic mistakes being played. And we play football like a Sunday league team, genuinely. Like today, you knew there wasn't going to be space in behind because of how Forest set up. Forest almost invited us to have possession. And say, you know what? We know these lot can't do nothing. Let me see what you lot can do. And they saw we cannot create to save our lives behind a deep block. And what do they do? That's their game. That's Sean Dyche's bread and butter. This is what he loves. And we played right into their hands. Trying to play long balls over the top. Long balls into... Are you lot out your mind? Are you sick in the head? Murillo and Milinkovic, you're trying to launch long balls there. How does this make sense? To Richarlison, of all people. And I've said the amount of times this guy has played him up front consistently in this team. You live by these types of weapons, you're going to die by these types of weapons. Because he doesn't offer anything. No hold-up play, no link-up play, no finishing, no runs in behind. But you consistently pick him to the point where you've now started putting Colin Wani left wing. Explain these decisions to me. It doesn't make sense. None of it is making sense. And you get 2 wins like that where Slavia Prague, brother, that should be bread and butter. I shouldn't even have to stress about that game and think about, oh, I'm glad we walked away from that game. And Slavia Prague went man to man. That's the only reason why we were able to pop round them. And they made it easy for us. Brentford, again, they made it easy for us. But you come up against a half-decent team and you restore back to default settings. I can't overlook that. Nobody can overlook that. I'm sorry. And what are we going to do now? Wait till January. Give this manager more weapons that he doesn't know clearly what to do with. I don't know what identity this team is being built in right now. If anybody can tell me right now what semblance of a team this looks like to you, whether from an outsider's perspective or a Tottenham fan perspective, please, I'd love to hear it. Because right now, none of this is making sense to me. And if we need to cut ties in order just to at least move on from this chapter, I'm happy to at this point. Because I can't see it improving. I can't see this manager learning from the mistakes of the previous games. It's the same issues happening. The same way we can't create. The same type of individual errors. And even in those last 2 games that we won, there was a lot of individual quality. Xavi Simons' breakout game against Brentford. Mohamed Kudus against, and even Xavi Simons midweek against Slavia Prague. But if those guys don't perform, what happens? And this is where I expect a decent coach to come in. This is what I wanted from Thomas Frank, where I said, yo, you're meant to be a striker whisperer. You've had the likes of Watkins, the likes of Tony, Mbembo, Wissa. You've had so many strikers that you've actually built and made. Come into Spurs and show me that. And all he's done is stick with Richarlison. Come on, play players out of position, left, right, and centre. None of this is making sense to me. So if someone can please make sense of this, I would love to hear it. I didn't even want to do a match reaction to this today, but there is no way a result like this can just be overlooked. Let me know in the comments what you think. Has he run out of time? Is it time to cut ties? Because we've got Liverpool next, lads. This ain't getting any easier. You understand this, right? We got Liverpool next. We got Crystal Palace after that. You think Brentford? Oh, we just beat them. It should be able. We go to the G-Tech. I don't know. I can't look at any of these games. Sunderland just now watched Newcastle in the Time Ware derby. You think I fancy myself at home versus them? No, with my home record. Come on, man. And then Villa in the Cup. I'm not confident of any of this. And this is the problem. You have optimism, but this team will always give you reason to kill that optimism. To kill that little bit of hope that you might have in your heart of, you know what, this might be a good season. You know what, a couple of good results, we might actually have turned the corner. You know what, maybe we can build on these last couple of games of what we've done. They will remind you, don't be fooled. Never will I be fooled again, I'll tell you that. But let me know your thoughts on the game, on Vicario, on individual performances. Has Thomas Frank run out of time? Like the video if you've made it this far. I'd really appreciate it. Trying to get this channel to 20K. Keep subscribing, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Till next time, people, make sure you tune into FCM. We're going to go live shortly. Take care.